started.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll ask Jason Stewart to lead us in prayer, please.
Could bow your heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, God. We thank you for our city. Lord, we thank you for the individuals who showed up here tonight. Lord, we ask, God, you keep your hands upon us as we do business for the city. Lord, we ask you that you lead, guide, and direct us this evening. We also ask you keep your hand upon our city. If there's any inclement weather coming in, God, keep your hand upon us. We ask you keep your hand upon our fire, our police, our safety, our soldiers abroad. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, I'll call the meeting to order by asking Mrs. Toddy for a roll call, please.
Cindy Wood. Candida Robinson.
Here.
Kara Roach.
Here.
Billy Poe.
Here.
Jason Stewart.
Here.
John Paul Thompson.
Here.
Ernie Link.
Here.
Brandon Schrader.
Here.
Bonnie Winkles.
Here.
Brett Parker.
All right, we have a quorum. You've got a copy of the minutes from the February meeting in your packet. Give you a minute to look over them. Then I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion we approve the minutes as written.
Motion made by Ernie Link to approve.
Second.
Bonnie Winkle, second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed with no. Minutes will stand approved. You have the financial report also in your packet. I'll give you a minute to look over it.
Make a motion to approve financial.
Jason Stewart made a motion to approve.
Second.
Ernie Link, second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed with no. All right, now we've got department reports. I'm gonna go kind of off key this time. I'm gonna ask Ms. Kelly to give her report because she's gonna have to go to the draft.
I'll be loud since Karen said she couldn't hear me, so. I've had to write this down, so I will not forget anything. I want to kind of give you guys an update on the spring swing tournament that we had the 28th. It went very well. If you were there, you know, it was a good turnout. We had 22 teams in total. No exaggeration, we cooked 1,110 burgers that day. The atmosphere was great. There were zero issues with any of the games. No parent fights, no umpire issues, no altercations with games. The only issues we had were internally with like some concession stuff, but we figured it out, kept going. The only negative feedback that we got from outside of towns were they wanted to see temporary fencing. We ordered that last Wednesday, so that'll be here in about 2 weeks. Hopefully our next tournament on the 28th of March, if it makes, we'll have that new fencing up. The total that we made for that day was $11,663. After I paid my umpires, I was able to turn in to the city $7,923. Baseball league starts in 2 weeks. We're about to go draft here in a second. We did put 20 teams in this league this year. We have 156 kids in baseball, 61 kids in softball, with a total of 217 kids. We did start a co-ed league. Hopefully we get a little bit more signed up. That'll start April the 10th. And then we are bringing back the opening day ceremony. We'll have all of our teams to come in. We'll have the national anthem played. They'll meet our committee. They'll meet who I am, who our committee members are, and play a little home run derby and just kind of get them interacting. We'll have team pictures all that day. So if y'all are free and you want to come out, it'd be great to see everybody.
What day's that?
It's April the 4th. We're gonna start at 9 o'clock.
I need to be off that day, Ed.
Anybody have any questions? Thank you, ma'am. Let you get off.
Good job, Macy.
Take care of your business.
Thank you.
See you guys later.
Sorry I couldn't get you a cooker that day. I wasn't done for it.
Hey, Blake brought us a little small one, so we're good.
Chief Thomas.
I don't really have anything new, so we
we did send officers out to help her that day, including our drone pilot. As I started last month, I'm gonna introduce the new officers that we hired. This is Josh McConnell, he was hired March 1st. This is his first time in law enforcement, he's 33 years old. He went to high school at Green County Tech. Before this job, he worked for his family in a private business in Brooklyn. We're excited to have him and look forward to doing big things for us.
Can you get him any bigger?
Well, that's part of being an arm wrestler.
That's a hoss.
That'll be part of the next meeting. But yeah, I'm extremely grateful for this. It's a great opportunity. Got a great man in the hot seat, and very excited about what we got going on.
Well, welcome, Trumann.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
Had a lot of people ask, how many you gonna hire? Well, we got 23 slots, he's number 21. So, plan on hiring one more and hold one for some possible federal funding. Hopefully I'll have another one next month.
Sounds
Good, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Chief.
Thank you.
Let's see. Chief Kemper is not gonna be here. Lieutenant Thomas?
I have nothing. Unless you have a question, I can answer whatever you got. Or I can try.
No, but can I say something about the fire department?
Yes.
So, as probably a lot of people know, or some don't, there were 2 fires in our neighborhood that were total lost structures. And I want to brag on Chief Kemper for sending out this letter, letting all the people in our neighborhood know that they weren't related, but if we had any questions, concerns, they would come out and do a personal visit on our house. And I just think it made me feel a lot better. Brandon, you live in the neighborhood.
Yeah, above and beyond.
I mean, it was. I thought that was very nice, and I'm thankful for that.
Walls.
Oh, thank you, guys. Appreciate that.
It was.
Any more questions? Okay. Mr. Pagan?
Sitting here, you got praise for Rivers, and he's not even here to get it.
I know, right?
He'll be here next month.
No.
Okay, I don't have a lot. I do want to give an update. We had a pretty good discussion last month over the sewer at the school. After I had an opportunity to visit with my guys the next day to see what was going on over there. The problem was not really that the sewer lift station was down, it was stopped up. So, when that sewer pump kicks on, it pulls everything up to pump it out, and it picked up trash and stopped the pump up. That was the issue. So they showed me what they had there, and then the mayor set up a meeting with the superintendent and with some of her staff. We went over that day, had a discussion with them, good discussion I thought, accomplished all that to assure them that we want to do whatever we can to help the school out. And the mayor can correct me if I'm wrong, but the way that I took this conversation is they realize that most of the problem that they have is on them. They realize that they don't have enough fall. They've got a problem with lines getting stopped up. That's the reason that they're gonna spend however much money to get their stuff redone. So, when we were checking the lift station, the head maintenance guy, Mr. Grubb, came out and we were looking at it. I was showing him what they found in there, and I said, I'm not sure what this is. And he looked at it, and he said, let me tell you exactly what it is, paper towels. That's the issue we have. They're flushing paper towels down the toilets and stuff and stopping up our lines. And I won't say that all that was there came from them, but something made it to our lift station, and that's what got picked up. The reason we had to go twice during that time and get that cleaned out during that tournament. But anyway, their solution is that they're gonna put in a grinder pump that their sewer's gonna go into, which will give them a little more capacity, and also it will grind that stuff up so it'll be more emulsified before it gets to us. So we checked the station, trying to make sure that we got anything going on there, fixed the alarm light so that it comes on if there's an issue. But all in all, I guess what I want to say about that, I think they were happy that we were there, and we're gonna work together, do whatever needs to be done. But I asked, so how often do you think that this pump goes down that gives y'all problems? And this is their head maintenance guy, Mr. Grubb. He said, I'd say probably 4 times in 12 years. So, that's not, we don't want it to go down any at all. But that was his thing, 4 times in 12 years that he could remember. So it's not a huge issue with our lift station. Again, if the lines get blocked, we clean them. If something gets up in that lift station, we go clean it. But there's nothing that we can do to stop that pump from picking stuff up and getting clogged up. So anyway, I just want to give you that update that we do the best we can and we continue on. But we did pursue that. The mayor set it up. We pursued that to make sure that we're doing all that we can do. So other than that, if you got any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
We also, told them before they called a plumber to call us.
Yes.
And they agreed that they would do that. We can probably save them some money on that. And they agreed that they would do that before they ever called the plumber, so.
And they're looking forward to getting their stuff replaced so they don't have to call nobody, hopefully.
James, if a subject has a drainage problem in their ditch in their yard, we don't go there to do any kind of help or anything, do we? There's a fella that lives over on Sunset. I just drove over a while ago and I seen the problem. There's no culverts under some of the driveways, so the water can't go nowhere. So I didn't know if anybody called y'all and said anything, or,
They have not
okay.
at all.
I just told him I would address it and ask about it, but I drove over and I seen the problem, but if you ain't got a culvert, you ain't gonna get no water moving.
Driveway culverts, to the best of my knowledge, is typically the homeowner's
Yeah.
responsibility.
I thought so.
And, you know, that makes it difficult. I'm not gonna say that it doesn't. You know, if I won't put a culvert in my driveway and you live 3 houses up and the water has no place to go, you know, it's not your fault that you're flooding out because I won't spend the money on the culvert.
Yeah.
But then if we put it in for me, then we've gotta put it in for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, it's a tough situation.
I understand.
It really is.
I think now also, those houses were built quite a while ago. We've got the code, and Gary can correct me if I'm wrong, but they have to clear the drain, make sure the drainage is gonna work by engineer, and they have to put a culvert in if it calls for one.
Yeah.
So it's a little different now compared to what it
Used
was
to be.
then, so.
And if, like you said, if they're building something now, we require culverts. I was talking to Jason yesterday, and they're building some apartments over on Park Street. And so they called and wanted to know what needed to be done across the front of that property, and he told them, 18-inch culverts and a swell to get it draining out of there and all that kind of stuff. So if they're building something new, absolutely, we're gonna hold our feet to the fire and make sure that they put it in. But that stuff about having to come in later on
Yeah.
and do it, it can be a problem.
Oh, I understand. Okay, thanks, sir.
Yes.
Any more questions for Mr. Fagan? Mr. Campbell's not here. I can tell you that he has been writing quite a few different grants. He's even requested for congressional funding that they've got available for, of course, it's obviously nationwide, but he has applied for that. We've applied for funding for 3 new sirens. I told him I was gonna give him one last shot. If he can't get funding for it, we're gonna have to fund it. We've got to get 3 sirens back up. Hopefully we'll find out something about that soon. He's also asking for a new bulletproof vest for all of our police officers, the ones they have that have them. I think all of them are old, right, Chief?
Some of them maybe up to 10 years old.
Yeah, they're way outdated.
He's wearing one 10 years old.
Yeah, that's way outdated.
Life expectancy is probably 5 years.
So
Very good.
We can disregard last one.
that's another thing that we're gonna have to address at some point soon, because we've got to take care of our police officers. We've got to make sure they've got the equipment and stuff they need to protect themselves and to be protected while they're out protecting us. So if this funding don't come through, then we're gonna start looking at other avenues to see if we can get these vests, replaced with new ones. Another thing that he has asked for, requested is, in-car,
Cameras for in-car.
cameras and in-car, computers, to update the ones we got, because the ones we have are, again, they're ancient. We don't have any for in-car cameras, but the computers are ancient as well. Y'all know how technology is, it don't take long. You know, you buy it today and tomorrow it's outdated. But, anyway, those are things we're looking at. Let's see, there was something else that he had put in there he was looking for. Something for the fire station, I can't remember what that was. But anyway, those are things that he's asked for that. He's written several other grants as well. They're gonna be writing a grant for the, phase 3 of the, Sunken Lands Trail to RDOT, so we'll probably get that, so. Next would be, committee reports. Don't think we have any. Board reports.
We had our town hall Ward 3. I thought it went really well. It was kind of one of those things that just kind of threw it out there to see if we could get some feedback, because obviously we do have some that visit the council, but sometimes whether it's schedule or whatever the case may be, we don't always have a lot. So just trying to provide an opportunity. We heard several folks. I thought it went really well. We talked about obviously blight. We talked about the lighting. Of course, we appreciate everybody that came out, and hopefully look to do that again, try to schedule something else, but I thought it was well received by not only Ward 3, but a lot of the community. Thank you.
Any other board reports? Unfinished business is none. Now we will go to new business. And the first thing on the agenda
I
is.
make a motion to suspend the rules and add the alcohol ordinance that was presented. Why can't we?
Oh, this wasn't put in the agenda to start with, and there's not a suspended rules, it's just, it's not.
So how do we get it added, Jim?
So my understanding is a member can make a motion to suspend the rules to have an item added to the agenda. We're just now starting the regular agenda, and I think a member of the council is empowered to make that motion, yes. So if you want to make a motion to suspend the rules to add an item to the agenda, you can do that. That motion has to pass by 2/3 vote.
Okay. That's what I want to do.
Okay. So I stand corrected. Now, the only thing is,
We don't have it.
everybody don't have to.
I made a copy of what Jimmy sent me for everybody, but it's not the official, it's what he emailed you, but everybody can have a look at it.
My question is, number one, is if it's not an official ordinance, don't we have to have that?
Well, I don't know, I haven't seen exactly what he has. What I emailed was in ordinance form, so I didn't print out that way or whatever.
You can look at it. It
I
didn't.
think it just printed through the
It just printed
through the
through the
email.
deal. There wasn't
Come
like
in
an
as a Word
attachment.
document.
There's not an attachment to it.
It printed the attachment. That's why it's kind of,
It's-
Yeah.
There's an ordinance in this email.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think you can, it is in the ordinance form, it doesn't have a number. If this is added to the agenda, this will go to the bottom of the agenda, and you have to be given a number in order based on the ordinances that we're considering tonight. The preliminary issue is suspending the rules so that this item could be added to the agenda. And then it would be added for a first reading tonight. And if for some reason you decide you want to pass it tonight, you have to suspend the rules again
That's for emergency clause.
and move to read by title only for the second and third reading and vote on all 3 readings tonight. And then it has an emergency clause, and then you have to vote on the emergency clause separately, and that has to pass by a 2/3 vote. And each time you move to suspend the rules, that will also have to pass by a 2/3 vote.
If you can walk us through it, that's what I want to do.
I can walk you through it.
Okay. I do
What I
not
would-
know what the next ordinance number is. So I don't know what that ordinance number would be.
But we don't have any ordinances on the agenda.
Right.
I guess my question is, I mean, it's already scheduled to go on next month's council meeting. I got it the night, Thursday night was when I actually got it. And the agenda and everything had already been sent out. I told, John Paul that we would put it on next month's agenda. I'm not sure what the rush is.
I'm just ready to get it settled,
Well,
if the council wants to settle it.
The only other caution that I would give to you, and again, that's a proper motion to suspend the rules, new council members empowered to make it. Has to pass by a 2/3 vote to add this to the agenda. You certainly can do that. And technically, you could even pass it in one night. The only issue that you really have is you do have FOIA open meetings type requirements. This has not, if you do add it to the agenda, this wasn't something the public was really given advance notice of, that you were gonna be considering voting on tonight. Public's not, you know, those who might have an opinion on it, and wanna show up and be heard about it, weren't given advance notice, it was gonna be put on. That's not to say that you can't do it. But I'd just be mindful of that you are doing it without the public really having any real notice to participate, to give their input. So you do whatever y'all can do whatever you want, but it might be better if you did it for the first reading tonight. You vote on it for the first reading tonight, but at least that gives everybody some notice that this is, you know, gonna be up next time. If y'all choose to pass it the next meeting, you can do that. Now, again, decision's up to you guys, but those are all proper ways to handle it, and ultimately, in whatever way you guys decide to do it. I'd just be mindful of the fact that the public hasn't really had choice.
well, we talk about, so much about transparency, and I think that this is a big deal about transparency. We give it to next month, put on the board, put on the agenda next month, and go through with it next month. That gives it a month for people to know about it and for us to be transparent. Again, I got this Thursday night, and the agenda and packet had already been sent out. If this was a rush emergency, I might look at it a little different, but you're talking about allowing restaurants to sell whatever strength alcohol they want to sell. They're already getting their license or their permits to sell the mixed drinks by the ordinance that was already passed. I signed one today for La Cascada, and they're getting their stuff for that. I don't see where there's an emergency, and I think that, my personal opinion, y'all are the council, y'all are the ones, y'all make the decision. I don't see where it couldn't wait until next month to be brought in for the first reading.
I'll just say before we go any further on that, if you're making a motion, just first make your motion, then you'll need a second, then you'll vote, because we may not even get that far.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
So the motion is to suspend the rules, to place this proposed ordinance
On the bottom of the
that
agenda.
you give to the council, on the regular agenda.
John Paul Thompson made the motion, and Attorney needs a second. Any more discussion on it?
My only question is it going to be an issue because we don't know the ordinance number?
I think it would just be the next ordinance number that we would normally sign. I don't know what that is at the moment.
Can we not look back at last month's packet?
Probably
I
could.
think if there were ordinances there, then that would give you
We did some ordinances last
about what our
month.
next number would be.
I don't know what the number is, 750 something, but I don't
I think it's 754, but I'm not 100%.
know. Well, we've got a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion on it? Have a roll call vote, please, on this motion.
Can I help you?
Yeah. Cindy Wood, absent. Candida Robinson. 4. Kara Roach,
4.
Billy Poe,
No.
Jason Stewart,
No.
John Paul Thompson,
4.
Ernie Link,
4.
Brandon Schrader,
4.
Bonnie Winkles,
4.
Brett Parker. Six, 4, 3 against, one absent.
That's 2/3 of the council.
Motion fails, so it will be put on next month's agenda. Alright. Next thing, first thing on our list is discuss lights at the complex. I've told y'all that we've got a $250,000 grant to replace some lighting. I have put it out for bid for lighting for the whole complex. Lights alone will be in the $400,000 range for the whole complex. Then the installation, I'm guessing in the neighborhood of $500,000 total. We have the extra funds to do the whole complex. We will open the bids on April the 28th. So it'd be June or so before we would have to make a payment. July is when we would do our mid-year budget reconciliation, so it'll be taken care of then as far as the budget part. Tonight, I'm just asking your thoughts on this, to either just spend the $250,000 and probably get just one field lit, or look at doing the whole thing at the same time, which, again, I think in the long run will wind up being a little cheaper, because they're not having to come back a second time, take the lights down that's already up, and put them on those bars and then start them again. So that's just something to bring out, just kind of get y'all's thoughts on it, see what we might want to look at on that.
I think we need to do it all at once.
Yeah.
Coming back twice, we're gonna pay double the labor and all that.
Especially-
And who's to say, I'm gonna say this, you know how technology changes daily. Who's to say we spend $250,000 and we put LED lights up, and then 6 months down the road, those LED lights are no longer available, we've gotta go to a different brand. And then I have a pet peeve with 2 different color lights up in the ceiling, and that's what we're gonna have out there at that complex. I think everything needs to be the same, we need to do it at one time if we do it.
There's gonna be a system-wide warranty for whichever it is, so it would make sense to go the full route and have the 10 years or whatever it is, that generally they come in and relamp after so long, so.
We've already got the poles, that's a big thing, probably as big as expensive as the lights themselves. And, so a lot of the wiring is already, some they won't have to replace, so, I put the bid out, but it was also where, the way the bid reads is if y'all said, no, we wanna go with 250, we can still pull the 250 out of that, so.
Only other big ask for that would be to make sure that we have the lights that are compatible to schedule to come on at a certain time, and/or
I've got it
Mason
in
can do the app and.
I've got it in the grant, or in the bid that we sent out, that it includes, app where they can be turned off and on by the app, where they can turn it off and on manually,
Mason will appreciate
so.
it.
I do that.
Yeah.
Any other discussion on that?
What kind of savings will it be with the new lights? I mean,
Honestly, it depends on who you ask, because one company's gonna tell you you're gonna have this much savings, another company's gonna tell you you're gonna have this much. I can tell you this much: the light bill alone for the sports complex, last month, I believe, was $1,600 and something dollars. LED lighting has got to make it a lot cheaper. So in the there's no doubt in the long run it's gonna save us money, and they'll pay for themselves. How long will it take? I can't give you that answer. Now, we can have tests done on that, which is gonna cost us money anyway.
I
we
didn't
do
know if
that.
they'd give you anything, just.
Yeah, no, without having testing run on it and all that, it'd be hard hard to know. So. Alright, so if y'all are good with that, then as soon as we get those bids back and open them and see what we got, then, we'll have to bring that in a resolution form to get that done. Next up is resolution number 1326. This is a resolution for me to send out RFQs for a debris removal company. This would be a contract, that would be more an insurance policy that we don't pay until we use it. The company, this contract would basically be put up on the shelf until a disaster happens, and then would immediately come in and do the debris cleanup. I've seen these companies in disaster fields after hurricanes and tornadoes. They do an excellent job. They would be FEMA approved and certified, which has to be done or you can't use them. And they would know how to measure the debris, the manpower, the work hours, and all of that stuff for the FEMA records, which we would have to have if we tried to get money from FEMA for the disaster, but it still has to meet the threshold before we'd even get money anyway. But anyway, this is something that's kind of to have in our back pocket. We won't run into a situation like we ran into before. And there's several cities across Arkansas that I've talked to their mayors that have had this and used it. Wynn was one of them. And they praise it, and they signed another contract to keep them on the list. So I'm gonna ask Ms. Carolyn if she would read the resolution, please.
Resolution number 1326, 2026. A resolution authorizing the advertisement and solicitation of requests for qualifications, RFQs, for disaster debris removal and recovery services and for other purposes. Whereas the City of Trumann, Arkansas is responsible for protecting the health, safety, and welfare of its citizens, and whereas natural disasters such as tornadoes, severe storms, flooding, and other catastrophic events may result in significant debris and damage requiring immediate and specialized cleanup and recovery service. And whereas advanced procurement of qualified disaster recovery and debris removal contractors is necessary to ensure rapid response and efficient recovery following a declared disaster. And whereas the solicitation of requests for qualifications, RFQs, will allow the city to identify experienced, properly certified, and FEMA-compliant disaster recovery contractors in advance of any emergency. And whereas any resulting disaster recovery contract shall be no-cost standby agreements with no financial obligation to the city unless and until such services are activated and utilized following a disaster. And whereas contractors responding to the RFQ must meet all applicable federal, state, and local requirements, including eligibility for reimbursement under the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Public Assistance Program, and whereas the City Council finds that authorizing the advertisement of RFQs for disaster recovery services is in the best interest of the city and its residents. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Trumann, Arkansas, that Section 1, the City Council hereby authorizes the mayor to advertise and solicit requests for qualifications, RFQs, or for disaster debris removal and recovery services. Section 2, any contracts resulting from this RFQ process shall be standby, no-pay agreements creating no financial obligation for the city unless services are formally activated and approved by the mayor following a disaster event. Section 3, all responding firms must demonstrate qualifications, experience, and compliance with FEMA requirements, including eligibility for federal reimbursement when applicable. Section 4, final selection shall be done by the Public Works Committee, and the mayor and city clerk are authorized to execute a disaster recovery contract in accordance with applicable laws and procurement policies. Section 5, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage and adoption.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Brandon Schrader made a motion to approve.
Second.
Ernie Link, second. Any discussions?
What is what are you thinking the price might look like if
Honestly,
we
I
were
don't
to
have a
activate?
clue. I don't have a clue. We would know that beforehand, and then I mean, I guess I can call Wynn and ask, Mayor Hobbs what their cost was. I think it's gonna be, my understanding is it'll be based on the amount of trash that they remove. And to be honest, you wouldn't know that until they actually remove it. No, it's about the tonnage. Yeah, they have a way, and I've seen demonstrations on this. They have a way where they have someone set up like on a big podium, and they're watching everything put in, and they have some way that they just determine what the weight on that is. Another thing also, and I failed to mention, was FEMA requires things to be separated. It has to be, you can't have all wood, it has to be housing wood and vegetation wood. And then it has to be appliances or metal, and then hazardous materials. So it all has to be divided up, and that's another way that they will do all of that when they come in for the cleanup. As far as how much it would cost, I'm sure they're gonna tell us how much it'll cost per ton, or however they can do that, but I don't know that I could give you an exact
Well,
answer.
I mean, I'd rather it really come back to the council before it went out, but at least if it gets to the public works, so we can look at it, the pricing, and see what that's gonna be versus.
Based on this, are we even gonna see pricing, or is this just a request for their actual
Yeah, this is
qualifications?
just a request for qualifications, and in their qualifications, they may or may not put pricing in it, I don't know. But it's a request for where they work, what they've done before, who they've worked for.
Certifications?
Certifications, yeah, they'll have to have, that's all in the RFQ.
Okay.
Again, it's, I think it's insurance for us, especially after what happened at the tornado.
Yeah, plus we can say we won't have the problem, the issue we had before. That was a mess.
I've got a motion, yes, sir.
I will say on that, I think the resolution looks good, except the comment that Brandon made, I think is a good point, that final selection done by the Public Works Committee, and the mayor or city clerk authorized to execute the contract, that really ought to come back before the council. I mean, maybe they make the selection, but after that, I would just advise you to bring it back to the council, because the council is the only one that really has the authority to do it.
Yeah.
A committee doesn't typically have that kind of decision-making power to bind the whole city. I would bring it back, I'd just bring it back to the council.
Okay. And that's fine, I mean, I don't
Yeah,
have a problem with that.
anyway.
Yeah, I just want, I just wanna make sure that we can look at least sending out the RFQs and getting that done. And like Mr. Gasaway said, we can take it for the Public Works Committee, let them make the recommendation and bring the recommendation back to the council. So, I'm good with that. So do we need to change anything in the resolution? Does it need to be amended?
I just think as long as it's brought back before the council, like if you're stating here tonight that Public Works is basically gonna make a recommendation, and that you're gonna bring it back to the full council for approval, that's what really needs to happen. As long as that happens, I don't think it's an issue.
I will rescind my motion, then make a motion that we move forward with the add-on, that it will kick back to, they'll make a recommendation through Public Works that will come back to council.
I'll second what you just said.
I don't blame you, I wouldn't want to try to repeat it. Motion and a second for that. Any discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed with no.
So the rescinding has been approved? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That was the first one. We didn't
Yeah, that's-
vote on the other, we didn't vote
No.
on mine,
No.
so I rescinded it and then
Okay.
made a
Um,
separate motion.
I'm a little confused.
He rescinded his motion and made the second motion that we would pass it with
Okay.
the
Cause it goes back.
understanding that we bring it back to council before we sign anything.
Okay, so he made the motion, he rescinded it, but did they make the motion to
No, that's not been done yet.
Okay.
That's what we're fixing to go through.
Okay.
So now, Brandon, you made the motion to go forward
Move forward.
with that understanding.
Yep.
All right, so we got a motion.
Do we need to, before we do that, do we need to make notation to section 4 that it will come back before, with that amendment to section 4?
You could amend it, I think it's a pretty minor amendment that basically, I mean, the way I would probably phrase it is, selection shall be made by the Public Works Committee and recommended to the council for final approval, and the mayor and clerk are authorized to execute the contract, basically. A committee of the council doesn't have the authority to bind the full council to a contract.
Right.
Only the council. So,
So that law's already in place, and it wouldn't really,
and if you bring it back to the council after they have made they can call it a selection or recommendation, but as long as the full council approves it, that's ultimately what matters. I don't know that you have to change the language of this, but I do think you need to bring it back to the full
Yeah.
council for approval. And I think that's what everybody.
and that's on the record as well, that we will do that.
What's the dollar amount now for what a mayor or clerk can authorize?
42,000,
changes.
it's 42,000 and some
But
change.
what I'm getting at is the last time we had to do this, how many hundreds of thousands did we have to pay out in? So,
Right.
it eventually is gonna wind up coming back before this council to be approved before
Right.
we, okay. I'm good with no amendments then, just with the understanding.
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Uh-huh.
Opposed with no. Motion carries. All right, the next one up is, I mentioned to you, this to you a few months ago. We had a similar situation last year where we had what was proposed to be a street many years ago. There's no deed or anything on that section. And we passed it it was for Russell Qualls and Chandler Hammond, I believe it was. And we've got another situation that's just like this. Ms. Sammy Bullock has talked to me several times over the last 6 months or so, asking about this. There is a section that was, I was told, there's no record that I have been able to find that says that was gonna be a city street. But I was told by others that they were talking about that was gonna be a street at one time, a crossover street between Christie and Smith. Nothing was ever done. There was a drainage pipe put in that section. Ms. Bullock, for the most part, over the last 30 years, has taken care of that property. And she's getting kind of up in age, and she's just asking if there was a way she could get that property. Now, we can't deed it to her, we can't sell it to her or anything else, because there's no record that we even own the property. That's been looked up and can't find it. Courthouse don't know anything saying, so basically what this resolution is for us to remove ourselves from having any claim on that property other than a permanent drainage. And then Ms. Bullock could go through the process of getting that property allotted with hers, and she would have to pay for all of that. We don't pay for anything, but even when whatever she does, we would still have a permanent drainage easement on that section of property, which is about 18 foot wide by 150 foot long. That's what this resolution is about. I'm gonna ask Ms. Toddy if she would read the resolution, please.
Resolution number 1327, 2026, a resolution authorizing the city of Trumann to relinquish any claim of rights, title, or interest in a strip of property located immediately north of 636 Christie Avenue, subject to a retained drainage easement. Whereas the city of Trumann, Arkansas does not hold a deed or recorded ownership to a certain strip of land approximately 150 feet in length by 18 feet in width, located immediately north of the property at 636 Christie Avenue, parcel number 555-02067-000, north to the property line of 708 Christie Avenue, parcel number 555-02472-000, and whereas despite not holding a deed, the city has maintained or otherwise exercised some control over the property for public purposes, including drainage. And whereas the owner of 636 Christie Avenue has maintained the property for over 30 years and has requested to take ownership of said strip of land and intends to replat the parcel to incorporate it into existing property at 636 Christie Avenue. And whereas the city of Trumann has determined that it has no need to continue asserting any rights, title, or interest in said property except for drainage purposes, and whereas the city wishes to relinquish any claim of rights, title, or interest it may have in the described property while retaining a permanent drainage easement across the entire 150 feet by 18 feet area. And whereas all expenses related to the transfer, replating, surveying, and legal documentation shall be the sole responsibility of the owner of 636 Christie Avenue. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Trumann, Arkansas, Section 1, the City of Trumann hereby relinquishes any and all claims of rights, title, and interest in the strip of land approximately 150 feet by 18 feet in size, located immediately north of 636 Christie Avenue, and supports the owner's intent to replat the area to become part of the 636 Christie Avenue property. Section 2, the city shall retain a permanent drainage easement across the entirety of the 150 feet by 18 feet strip and to ensure continued access and functionality for drainage purposes. Section 3, the owner of 636 Christie Avenue shall be solely responsible for all costs and actions related to the replatting, surveying, filing, legal documentation, and any other expenses associated with this transfer. Section 4, this action does not constitute a formal conveyance of property by deed, but rather a formal relinquishment of any interest the city may have previously held or exercised.
All right, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Bonnie Winkle's made a motion,
Second.
Ernie Leeds second. Any discussions?
Just want to be sure, so obviously this will make, we won't have anything to do with it, but will the property adjacent, will they be able to, like, is she trying to get the entire?
Yeah, that section goes over to a fence, and Rick McKenzie owned that property, and Rick come over and found the boundary line for me, knows all of what's going on with that, and doesn't have an issue with that.
It just looked like that there's another property over there, so I just.
Yeah, there is a property to the north of that, there's a fence.
Not just a fence line.
Yeah, there's a fence
It's
line.
rigged.
That's Rick McKenzie, he's the one that actually found the stake where the property line was at, so we would know how to get the measurement, all of that, to get where she needs to be.
I know the property owner knows this, but that easement is gonna have to be noted on the new plat.
Yes.
And it will have to notate Herman.
Yes, she knows that, I explained that to her, and I told her that even when she sold the property, or if she sold it, or her kids sold it, that it would be on that deed, that there is a permanent drainage easement on that section. Of course, it's noted in here as well, so.
Mayor, she's gonna prepare all that, she's responsible for the cost of all the pre-planning, surveying, filing. She needs to provide a copy of that, just to make sure it does say that before they do it.
Yeah, and they'll have a copy of this resolution as well, she can't do it without that resolution. So, that's same way. The only reason I know that is because went through the last one, and it was the same way, they had to have a copy of this resolution before they could even use it.
I'm surprised the folks from Smith Street haven't asked about it,
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything from them.
because you get the same thing there.
Yeah, exactly.
west side of the street. It looked like.
Right here, that was abandoned. I remember us abandoning that.
Any other discussion on this? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed with no. She will be tickled to death. Next up is resolution number 1328. Before I go too much into that, I want to apologize for not sending the proposed contract with this resolution. I had it intended to even send out, and when it was brought to my attention, I got it to Ms. Carolyn immediately and got it sent out. There's not a big change in the contract itself. This is for vector disease control to continue with the mosquito spraying. The biggest, really the only real change that I saw in it from the previous was the cost. And the cost went up a little bit, $2,200 for the $275 for the year. They do a really good job. Like Ernie and myself were discussing earlier, you know, they will come in and spray if you have a special event at your house. They'll come in and spray around your house or as much as they can, a little extra that day or when. Now, they're not gonna do that every day or once a week. If you're gonna have something special at your house once a week, they will do it on occasion. They also spray by airplane, as much as possible, depending on the weather, the wind and all of that. They do testing, for mosquitoes and mosquito larvae, even find out what type of mosquito we got here. So, anyway, this contract, we can do it for 1 year, or we can do it for 3 years, or 2 years. If we do it for 3 years, we get the same price as we lock in the first year. So we don't have to worry about the price going up the next 2 years. So, price of fuel, price of chemicals skyrocket, we're still in the low. Now, the other side of that is, if prices go down, you know as well as I do, they're not gonna go down on their price anyway. Even if the price of the stuff does go down. So, I'm gonna ask Ms. Toddy if she would, read this resolution, please.
Resolution number 1328, 2026. A resolution approving a 3-year contract with Vector Disease Control International LLC, VDCI, for mosquito and vector control services and other purposes. Whereas the city of Trumann, Arkansas is committed to protecting the public health, safety, and welfare of its citizens, and whereas mosquito and vector control services are essential to reducing the risk of vector-borne diseases and improving quality of life within the city, and whereas the city has previously contracted with Vector Disease Control International LLC for mosquito and vector control services, and such services have proven effective and beneficial, and whereas the city has negotiated a proposed 3-year contract with Vector Disease Control International LLC under the same general terms and conditions as prior agreements, and whereas the proposed contract includes a slight annual increase of $2,275, increasing the yearly cost from $69,225 to $71,500 to be paid in monthly installments, and whereas the city council finds that entering into this contract is in the best interest of the city and its residents. Now therefore be it resolved by the city council of the city of Trumann, Arkansas, that section 1, the city council hereby approves a 3-year contract with Vector Disease Control International LLC, VDCI, for mosquito and vector control services. Section 2, the contract shall be for an annual amount of $71,500 payable in monthly installments, reflecting an increase of $2,275 per year over the prior contract amount. Section 3, the contract shall be under the same terms and conditions as previous agreements between the city and VDCI, unless otherwise specified in the attached contract. Section 4, the mayor and the city clerk are hereby authorized and directed to execute the contract and any related documents necessary to carry out the intent of this resolution. Section 5, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage and adoption.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Jason Stewart made a motion.
A second.
Carol Rhodes second. Any discussions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
opposed with no. Next on the agenda is the State of the City address, and I'll read that to you. It is an honor to present the State of the City for the City of Trumann and to reflect on where we have been, where we are, and where we're going. 2025 was another very good year for our city. It was a year defined by financial strength, major infrastructure progress, improved public safety, and continued community pride. Financially, the City of Trumann continues to be on solid financial footing. Our operating budget has grown from approximately $9.2 million in 2023 to $14.3 million projected for 2026. This growth reflects careful planning, increased grant success, and disciplined fiscal management. In 2025, we were able to provide 3.2% cost of living raises for our employees while still maintaining strong reserves. We paid cash for the installation of new census water meters across the remainder of our service area, saving the city approximately $700,000 in interest costs. And even after that major investment, we maintained over $4 million in city accounts. That kind of financial health does not happen by accident. It is a result of conservative budgeting, smart decision-making, and a commitment to long-term sustainability. In streets, transportation, and infrastructure, our progress in 2025 builds directly on investments made in prior years. In 2023, the city was awarded a $300,000 streets grant. These projects were completed in 2025, paving approximately 2.6 miles of streets. While we initially believed the city might need to contribute up to $37,000 to complete all requested streets, competitive bids came in under budget, allowing every street on the list to be paved without additional cost. One of our most exciting long-term projects is the Sunken Lands Trail, a TAPS grant awarded in 2023 through Arkansas Department of Transportation funded Phase 1. This project is now approximately 90% through the design phase, with construction hoped to begin in early summer 2026. We've also been approved for an additional $500,000 TAPS grant for Phase 2, and we will be applying for funding for Phase 3 later this year. The Highway 69 widening project has also taken important steps forward. Easements for utility relocations are being secured. Some utilities have already begun moving, and the city's water and sewer relocations have been bid and approved. Construction on those relocations will begin later this year. We have been informed that RDOT plans to let the widening project for bid before the end of the current fiscal year, meaning construction could begin sometime in 2027. In 2024, the city was awarded 2 grants totaling more than $2.7 million for a new clear water tank. The project was bid in 2025, but all bids came in over budget. The project was redesigned, and while awaiting approval to rebid, a federal government shutdown caused delays. The good news is that in the third week of February, the EDA approved the revised bid package, which was released last week, and bid openings are scheduled for March 31st. In addition, the city has been approved for a 100% forgivable loan of up to $5.3 million to install a filtration system for the new clear water tank. Our goal is to construct the tank and filtration system simultaneously, ensuring a more resilient and modern water system for our community. The public safety remains a top priority. In 2025, we received a $5,000 grant from Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway, which allowed our fire department to purchase a hazmat trailer that is now in service. One of the biggest milestones of the year was the completion of Fire Station 1, capped off with a ribbon cutting in April of 2025. This modern facility enhances response times, improves firefighter safety, and will serve our community for decades to come. Our police department continues to make measurable progress. Crime has dropped 25% in 2023, 28% in 2024, and another 20% in 2025. These reductions are a result of proactive policing and officers who genuinely care about our city and our citizens. In 2025, we welcome Doug Thomas as our new police chief, following Chief Redmond's resignation to accept an instructor's position at Black River Technical College Police Academy. We thank Chief Redmond for his service and wish him continued success. We have also continued replacing and adding street lights, knowing that lighting deters crime, and this effort will continue. Our sports and recreation improvements have been outstanding. The sports complex concession stand and bathrooms were fully remodeled, and the fields have been restored to some of the best conditions seen in many years. Thanks to the dedication of Macy and her volunteers, we already have several tournaments scheduled for this year. And you heard about the one we had last week, so that was very impressive. Work on the field sprinkler system started in late 2024 and completed in 2025. Saved the city approximately $50,000 compared to installing a new system. We also received a $250,000 energy efficiency and conservation block grant, which will fund new LED lighting at the sports complex. Additionally, the city purchased a new tractor for the street department, paid for without financing, a new mower for the street department, and a new mower for the parks department. Drainage remains a challenge citywide, especially during heavy rainfall. While flooding cannot be completely eliminated, we continue to take proactive steps to reduce its impact. In 2025, we removed multiple beaver and muskrat dams, cleaned additional ditches, and expanded our ditch mapping efforts, moving closer to a comprehensive drainage management plan. Code enforcement also remained a focus. In 2025, the City Council condemned 24 unsafe structures, with a total of 27 being raised either by the city or by property owners, improving safety and neighborhood appearances. That is 55 total houses condemned and almost 70 raised since 2023. Trumann continues to grow. In 2025, 24 new businesses purchased a business license in our city, and we are actively engaged in conversations with additional businesses looking toward 2026 and beyond. Our innovation has not gone unnoticed. Arkansas Business Magazine recognized Trumann with the Trendsetter City Award for innovation in public works and transportation, highlighting our True Go bus service. The city was also named one of the best managed cities in Arkansas with a population under 10,000 by Business View magazine, a publication reaching over 950,000 business executives monthly across the United States and Canada. Community events continue to thrive. The 2025 Christmas Parade and Wild Duck Festival were bigger and better than ever, thanks to Bob Sile and our outstanding Chamber of Commerce. Our annual holiday food drive once again collected over 1,000 pounds of food for the local food pantry, proof of the generosity of our citizens and our businesses. None of this progress would be possible without our dedicated city employees, our supportive business community, and our engaged citizens. I am deeply grateful for the hard work that goes on every day in this city. Trumann continues to show that when we work together, we all get better. Thank you, and may the year ahead be even stronger, and may God bless our city. All right, any open public comments?
Wayne Schmidt.
Thank you. My name is Wayne Schmidt, resident of Ward 2, and the mayor and I will continue to disagree with progress on condemning houses. We have now exceeded 3 years since Citizens for a Clean Trumann submitted 72 structures for demolition. Code enforcement has made some progress in this 3-year period. What must be done eventually should be done immediately. City council members should list the balance of 28 structures for demolition to each month's agenda for updates and discussion as to why action has not been taken by code enforcement in over 3 years. Code enforcement should give monthly updates for each structure until demolished and removed from the list. And by the way, y'all have a 6-4 voting advantage to disagree with the mayor and insist that all these structures are listed for discussion each month until resolved. With the majority of citizens in Trumann, their home is the most important asset they own, and we have existing laws to protect these homes. 28 of the 72 structures submitted over 3 years ago have not been resolved. This means only 15 structures per year have been removed, or a little over 1.3 per month, according to the list that we submitted. We are asking Mayor Woods and city council members to add this demolition list to the agenda for each month's city council meeting for discussion and resolution. These structures are easily spotted by driving down the street. I urge Mayor Woods, Police Chief Doug Thomas, and all city council members to get into their vehicle and visit these structures. I did drive around Trumann today and inspected each one of them, and one guy said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm turning in this house across the street from you for demolition." He said, "Thank goodness, they build drugs out of that house. Nobody lives there." Public safety is everything. We need to make the city streets as safe as possible for our police and our fire people. Okay. Also, another example is, once these houses are taken down, a new one appears in their place in about 3 or 4 months. The council members can request a list of proposed houses to be condemned on each month's agenda. If the mayor continues to avoid this issue, the council can overrule with a 6-4 vote. So, please help the citizens for a clean Trumann. Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Can I say something real quick?
No. Jason?
What do you,
Well, I just wanna ask Chief Thomas,
by the,
don't have,
nothing to do with?
well, it has to do with citizens.
What does it have anything to do with the reply to the citizen that
No,
just spoke?
absolutely not.
Then technically, yes, he can.
This goes, what street runs by that you live on? Do you know? The street that turns, that goes to your house, what's that street?
Woodfield Cove? Twin Hickory?
Maybe Twin Hickory. It's the one that hits 69.
Twin Hickory.
Yes. Can y'all please maybe get some extra patrol there? And let me tell you why. This is twice I've been coming down 69. And you may have seen it, and I don't know, but there's a little kid on a black, it's gotta be an electric bike.
Yep.
But let me tell you, it is so fast, I don't know how it's not a motorcycle. But the kid is wearing a helmet. He is wearing, every time I've seen him on it, he's wearing a helmet. But Saturday, I was coming home from the trap range, and he was coming down Twin Hickory, and I'm telling you, never checked up. And there was an 18-wheeler coming. I just don't want to have another accident. I tried to turn around and catch him, but he was gone. And I don't know whose kid it is. Just, if we can get somebody down there to please, I don't have a problem with him riding the bike, but he's not even checking up. I mean, it's,
I've seen it too.
yes, you know who it is.
I agree.
No, I don't know who he is.
I've
I've
called
seen-
several people to even try to find out who the kid is so I can talk to his mom and dad. I don't know who it is.
I'm not
We
seeing
have
it.
requested some extra patrol through there because speeding complaints.
Yeah.
We'll make sure on the motorcycle too. We'll find out who it is.
It's electric bike.
I honestly think it's an e-bike, but it is fast and.
He's
like I
probably,
said,
what, a 9-year-old kid? He's
He's-
a small kid.
Yes, he's gotta be, and I asked Falcon, cause he looks to be in Falcon's age range. But I just don't wanna have to go pick somebody up off the street.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, I've gotta say, I've not seen him. I have seen a couple of, four-wheelers and.
He scared me the other day.
Side-by-sides, but I've not seen him. I will look for him.
And dirt bikes.
There in my section.
I think because that's where he's coming from. He went plumb across Twin Hickory, and I'm telling you, that 18-wheeler, I don't know how, it missed him, but it missed him, thank goodness. But I was watching, I seen him coming from your way, and I was watching him, and I tensed up, I thought, oh no. And he never looked right, never looked left, I mean, just straight across 69.
I can tell you, if you've never seen one hit by a big truck, I have, personally, and it's not fun. And yeah, I'm sure you have. I agree with you.
I mean, absolutely, we'll take care of that.
Yeah, I don't want him in trouble, but please,
Just
somebody.
just so y'all know, we have stepped up extra patrol on Highway 69 for speeding.
Yes.
We've had a couple complaints on that, and we've seen it. and I understand, look, I wish we could put an officer on every single street, but we can't do it.
I don't know what's going on in Garden Terrace, but they're flying over there.
We've got 2 or 3 officers on duty at a time, it's hard for them to be in every,
Yep.
and I've seen them over there.
Oh, they are flying over there.
I've been
Going
by.
down Larkspur and Easy and Honeysuckle, they just make that loop.
Six Garden Terrace.
Anyway, let's go ahead and have a motion for adjournment. Any of this stuff we can take care of off of record. Those are things, like I said, a phone call, call me, or call Chief Thomas Wood.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Somebody will implement a motion to adjourn. John Paul Thompson, second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed with no.
Stay here.
Say no, you can stay here.
Mitch over here.